Good morning, evening, afternoon. Masajati here with Mas on Sunday. Glad to have you back, guys. And, we grow more and more. So remember to like this channel, subscribe, and then tell it to your friends if we really want to transform the world. Just a couple things I want to get to before we get to the impact sections, which is, well, really impactful. That's why we call them impact sessions, where we can change our lives, literally transform our lives in a very short period of time. It only takes like 5 minutes to start that, say, process, although it might take you a little longer physically to start transforming, shifting and all that. But the process only takes about, say, 5 to 10 minutes, and you'll see how that works. And those who have gone through the process, who on here, please comment. Also, those individuals, I'm going to be working on specific clients, individuals here, participants, those in, if if you're watching and you have of similar issues as who I'm working on, you'll be worked on as well, just being in the group. And even if you're on a recording, if you're listening to this on a recording, you'll start to, say, transform or feel the frequencies. Now that sounds kind of crazy and sounds kind of matrixy, but Nikola Tesla, Einstein, any of those fantastic individuals, as they ascended to higher levels of intelligence and knowledge, wisdom, they started to say, well, in Einstein's word, everything is made of frequencies. I think Tesla said that as well. So quite amazing. One more thing I'd like to start before we get in is repent. And I don't know why this comes up, but it just needs to be said. So again, I'm not a religious person or anything, very scientific. And that's where you get that, say, spiritual awakening. Through this time in history, let's say there's going to be a lot of people that'll go, God, I really messed up my life. I need to shift, or I need to transform. So that's what's going to be happening. You'll see a lot of people, for example, a lot of high profile individuals, they'll start to repent. They'll start to, make news, saying that, they're sorry for what they did, yada, 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 So again, I'm not I'm not dissing them or anything in that way, but this is the science of how repent works, and that this is highly important. So when you start to realize that, oh gosh, I made a mistake, I can shift, I can transform. That's really great. At a genetic level, most of you, the way I help you, and this is where it ties in, so when you're going, say, in the wrong path, even at a genetic level, I would say, and this is where many of you transform, you age younger, you don't age like your parents and so on like that. That's a form of repent, right? So what that means is that you didn't know what you were getting into, you just inherited it. So obviously not awakened when you didn't even choose, it was just the next step available for you because you weren't awakened to choose when you came into your physical form. So in that case, since you didn't know, I can help you at a much deeper level. Okay, so that would be repent. It's like, shit, what did I do? My life is messed up, or, and then you can dramatically change like that, especially as consciousness awakens. We could see instantaneous healing, massive transformations, all that stuff, which is really cool. On the flip side, this is where repent happens too, is like, you understand I don't want to say what you did wrong, but you understand that your life is not going the right way, but then you choose to keep doing the same things as you do. So this is, say, your father's sins, the sins of the father, put it in religious terms, because many of you are of say, the society as a whole, even if you're atheist, runs on a, say, religious or distorted spiritual platform. So what happens is that, the sins of the father, whatever you've inherited, even if that, say, father have sold themselves, to the devil, so to speak, or whatever you want to call it, right? And then, like, sometimes I work with entertainers and so on, and it's like, gosh, your father did all that, literally sold themselves, or your mother, and then now you're repaying it. Although you might be very popular and famous, you're repaying the pains of that. So anyway, when you awaken and then you don't shift, you start to write another contract saying, oh, your consciousness or your genetics goes, oh, wow. Or some of you might go, it's God. But it's like, yeah, I see what's happening, but then I don't want to change my habits and attitudes. Okay, that's where free will comes in. And that's where you get, say, stuck. And it's harder to transform and shift that way, by the way. So when you start to see people go, hey, you know what, I'm sorry, and so on like that, that's totally cool. And or you might start to see that as the world awakens, it behooves you to really say do something about it and really transform your ways. Okay? And the way you do that is not here mental psychology. It's okay, but you want to do it at a much, much deeper level, at a frequency level. So, all right. So with that in mind, hopefully that helps you, you all, because we want to stay in time with what's happening with the universe. All right, so we'll just start out. We'll go to Marzana.
Yes.
Hi, did I pronounce your name right? Huh?
Yes, you did.
Awesome. So if there's anything specific you want to work on, or have I worked on you before? Where are we at?
You about a year ago, around March, April, we spoke,
Okay.
and right now my health went down drastically.
Okay.
I'm
Did you see?
dealing with a lot.
Yeah. Did you see any changes or after we spoke, or did we have a session or anything like that?
I just did the 30-day, I think it was a 15-day
Okay. Awesome. Uh,
session.
got it.
So pretty much I'm reacting to everything. I had to stop the supplements because I started reacting to everything.
Mhm.
My mouth is burning. My throat is inflamed, and I have no idea what's going on with me.
Got it. So Marzena, I'm not a doctor or anything like that. I'll just tell you what I see with you, and then you can make your own decisions. Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're the type of individual that takes on the burdens of a lot of people. That makes sense, right? You'll take on anybody's burden, especially as a child. You would take on the burdens of your mother, your father, whoever else, whoever was around you. You're just like an empty hole. No offense, you're kind of like a garbage can for you, and you just take on people's burdens. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so we need to really change that. So this is one of those things, Marzana, is that when you start to awaken and you start to realize, but then you don't know how to transform, maybe you did one I don't know, maybe 118-day or something like that, and it opened you up to go, oh, okay, I'm taking on people's stuff, and then but you didn't do anything about it. You didn't follow through, from what I'm seeing. So now, as you open up, and that's probably what I was talking about, that repent. As you open up, you realize what's happening to you, but then you didn't know how to change. In this case, it's not like you wanted to change. Maybe there's a little fear in you. Just take a breath in and just notice your lungs. And then so that's that piece. So let's help you say be more definitive, because people push you around. That's your underlying frequency. In this case, diseases, viruses, and so on like that would push you around. And I'm just wondering, did you take the vaccine?
No, I did not, but I got sick in April 21, and I was really, really sick. And they thought that maybe it was a long COVID.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my throat is like inflamed to the point where things will go down, but nothing will ever come up. It's
Mhm.
just stuck.
Yep. So again, I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but there's a lot of case studies showing that even if you had COVID, and not the vaccine, it's not similar, but the magnitude it's similar, but the magnitude is different. So when people have COVID, there's what happens, and this is the science, is that COVID creates um, I don't know what you call it. It's not a virus, but it's your body doesn't know what to do with it. So COVID, what happens, it lays dormant in your system, which kind of tells you that it's not a natural virus, so to speak. I don't know, but that's what I would assume, because natural viruses, your body would assimilate that because it's created from the same sphere as your body and so on like that. So, so this is like an inert, it turns into an inert, whatever you want to call it, thing in your body, and it just lays dormant. And that's the problem that many people are having, and your body is reacting to it. And since it lays dormant, your body doesn't know how to get rid of it or attack it. And it confuses literally
Oh,
your.
it's attacking my system.
Yes. So what you would do, so let's help you,
Because
the
what you
vaccine.
last time you told me that I had a lot of yeast and mucus in my
Yep.
body.
Yep. So
Do you
something with,
still feel that?
yes. So something with COVID, say that you have like diabetes, or you have heart issues, or you have a lot of yeast and mucus and so on. It'll accelerate the production. So if you were going to die, again, I'm just telling you what I see. I'm not claiming anything, but from what I've seen, my experience is that if you're going to die in 10 years of heart issues, you're probably going to die in a year with heart issues. I'm not saying that's you, but I'm just saying that's overall. It just accelerates whatever you have. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So if you have a lot of mucus, and that's where you should go, is like, so you start to clean up, again, just a suggestion, take a breath in. I'll help you at a frequency level, really say reclaim yourself. Okay. Because that's what you need to do. First and foremost is you need to reclaim yourself and take control. Because if you don't take control, other people will control you, like your relationships, money, your situation. You're always getting dragged into situations that you don't want to be. That's your whole life structure. That's what I can help you with. Does that make sense for you, hon?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm helping you with that. And this is where you put your foot down. You put your foot
Mm-hmm.
down and you go, damn it, I'm taking control of my life. And this is where, whatever supplements that you take, and there's a lot of supplements. If you join Telegram, XI with Masajati, I put some supplements on there that were suggested to me by a cardiovascular doctor, and that'll help, your system, by the way. But there's a lot of, say, a mucus diet or mucus free diet that you could run, that you could do, which will really help clean that out for you. So those
Because
are the
I have herbs. I was given herbs.
Mhm.
I don't know. They're very, every time I put them in my mouth, they burn my mouth, but my mouth burns as it is.
Yeah, the herbs might be a little too strong for you, hon, so kind of water them down. Herbs are medicine. Back in the day, they were medicines. Now it's just like
Mm-hmm.
herbs, and we just take it. But no, what's that famous doctor? Let thy food be thy medicine. So literally, let thy food be thy medicine. So it's a little too intense for you, hon. The key is like, I would go on that mucus-free diet, because the mucus is kind of interesting. The mucus is forming, from what I'm seeing, and I'm just telling you what I see. The mucus is forming into, say, something like acidic for you, and
Mm-hmm.
that's through the COVID, and then that's what's destroying your body all over. So you need to get rid of it. Autophagy would be really good for you as well.
Autophagy.
Yeah. And we have to move on, but autophagy is basically where you work your way up to not eating for about 24 hours, and then your body turns into ketosis. And then from there, your body starts to eat away whatever it is, even if it's inert, it'll start to eat away whatever
Mm-hmm.
that you've got. And then that's where you start to get healthier.
Okay.
Again, we have to move on, hon, but I here, what I was doing is just forcing you to put your foot down. So you're going to get into situations that you're going to have to make some decisions in your life. And because again, you've never really made a decision from what I'm seeing. You always allow other people to make decisions, and that's where you're at.
Is there like a lot of people attached to me too?
No, I cleaned all that stuff up. So you're
Mm-hmm.
free, you're clear, you literally have a clean slate. But the thing is, do not allow, if people are telling you what to do, don't allow that to do that. You have to stand up. Okay.
What kind of food, like what kind of diet I can go on?
Well, I just told you, mucus-free diet,
Mm,
autophagy, all those things. Okay. Huh?
okay.
Yeah, and do your own research. Don't ask other people what you need to do, because then you lose control. Right.
Yeah.
We'll go to Eleonora. Hey, Eleanor, how are you?
Hi, Mas.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm
Good.
good.
Awesome. Can you speak up a little, hon? That'd be awesome.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Is it
perfect.
good?
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's a lot better. So anything special you want to work on? I know, you've been on some of the events and so on like that. I know you've made amazing changes. You look great, by the way.
Thank you.
Transfer. So
Yeah. I would
it,
like to help to create me a new genetic code, basically, put that clear lens
okay.
to live through.
Okay, so you'd like to help clean your or clear your genetic lens and
Yes.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so recode, um, you know, if you want to call it your spiritual DNA, which tells basically your physical DNA what to do, right?
Yes.
And that's how you really that cell communication, not the mRNA technology or vaccines,
Yeah.
because that doesn't work out well. You want to do it the proper way. So take a breath in, guys. So this is where Eleonora, she's, if you don't mind me telling your story, Eleonora, she's
No.
had massive changes. I don't know how long you've been with XI, but I think you had lung issues and all that
Yes.
stuff.
Yes.
And now you've recovered even with
Yes.
COVID and all that, which is beautiful for you. From what I'm seeing, obviously you're aging younger. Um, you don't have to tell us your age or anything, but anyway, you're aging unless you want to, but
I'm 60. I'm gonna be 65
beautiful. So
shortly.
yeah, so you literally are having a second chance on life through XI. Is that fair to say for you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this is where, take a breath in, hon. Notice your spine. So your lungs are really coming into play. Okay. You're starting to revamp. You're starting to, basically what you're doing, Eleanor, is again, you're getting a second chance on life. So say you're 65 years old, you'll start to feel like maybe early 50s, late 40s. So you'll start to gravitate towards your late 40s from what I'm seeing, like
Wow.
48. I don't know what happened to you around 47, 48, but that kind of like distorted you the time you went through it. Does that make sense? Around 47, 48, what happened to you?
Cannot recall because it's so many things were happening to me.
It just seems like you carried the burdens of a lot of people.
Yes,
Like,
22 years in the hospital
oh, okay.
as a nurse. So maybe,
Oh, okay. So around that time frame, again, you worked at a hospital. So
yes,
you are very sensitive. Healthcare workers, by the way,
yeah,
the healing master is really good for this. If you're in a healthcare industry, healthcare workers, they gravitate to helping others because a lot of times they're like they're empathic, and that's why they want to heal their own wounds. But unfortunately, what we do is like we absorb other people's wounds, and it feels good for a bit. And then like Eleanor is like towards the end, it's like, what the hell am I doing? I've destroyed my body. A lot of healthcare workers go through that, right? And then we sacrifice. You don't have to do that. So from that point on, you're going to go back to, again, your late 40s, kind of reclaim your health, reclaim your body, and you're going to feel, you're going to look younger than that. Than your current age, and then you're gonna have that second chance on life. So the cell structure starts to change. Again, there's no clinical studies, but there's a lot of, say, actual human studies that have happened where people, with X, through the work with XI, they start to age younger. They start to, reclaim themselves. I went through that same process, my heart issues and all that my family has. I have none of that, which is really cool. So that's how we really transform from a medical point of view. Again, I'm not dissing any other, but we need to change our frequency to stay healthy as a society. So take a breath in. This is also where, no matter what the latest technology is, and I'm still working on you, Eleonora, your throat, that's really revamping. Your whole lung structure is literally going backwards and really healing. Your blood vessels and so on feel like they're more pliable, again, more of a younger individual. So whatever you're doing, you're on the right track. Bone broth is really important for you. Bone broth, really good high quality meats that have been raised properly. They contain all the essential amino acid, so that you can't get from vegetables and so on like that. So that'd be really good for you, hon. So and what I was saying is that with XI you can really clean up your space. Again, repent, which is doing the right thing, awakening. And then once you start to awaken, God or whatever you want to call it, your higher self goes, you know what? I didn't quite do life properly. And then like Eleonora, it's like, oh, it's like, let's just give you a second chance on life. That's how powerful you are. And that's how you can change and shift aging. So do you have any questions, hon? I'm just so happy for you, hon.
I know, I'm happy too. It's just like still I'm moving like from one reality to another, and I would like to be like a more clear, like more singularity in my life, like
Yes.
it's time for me just to be happy, and my life is tremendously changed. It's so like beautiful, and still something in me, like moving back and forth, like almost like a void sometimes.
Yes.
So I would like to be more stable in where I'm ready to be.
Yes. So a couple things with that, and then we'll move on. Eleanor, just notice your neck, and those people on, observing, watching. Just notice those people observing, watching, who are on Eleanor's, let's say, level. And again, congratulations. So what's happening for you is that in XI, it's all about, say, space and time. It's about dimensions of your multi-dimensional self. So Eleanor is like, say, level A, not level A, but point A. Okay. Thank you. So point A. And basically what she's going, she to heal herself, she went to point B. Okay. She didn't fix this version of herself. It's just she just went to a multi-dimensional self that didn't have those diseases and issues that she had. And that's how you transform. That's how you shift, not only yourself, but your environment, then your loved ones. So what Eleanor is doing is like, gosh, I really like this new version. I wonder what the better version is. So she goes to version C and then version D. But now she's got so much momentum. It's like, whoa, it's getting a little dizzy for her, because it's going, she changes so fast, like D to E to F to G. So she doesn't even have time to like really enjoy this version before she gets to the next version. So I know it's a little chaotic sometimes because you're just shifting so fast, hon, but spatial referencing for you, which we teach on the 18 days, is really good. So I would suggest, I could slow you down, but
no,
just you don't want to slow it
I
down.
don't want to slow down. No.
Yeah. So just spatial reference more and just hold on for the ride. And then you'll get to the point where your spirit wants to take you, because your spirit is really excited to take you to this point. It's like, I can't wait to show you what life is about, because that's what this time is in the universe. So, and then when you get there, it's like, whoa, this is really cool. And then you'll be more solid. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah.
So welcome. So in this session for you, and we'll go to Michael, in this session, stabilizing you, helping you change your genetics faster for you, as I would say, and then a solid love life relationship that comes in with friends, and again, maybe somebody else. So I don't know about that, but anyway.
Okay.
So we won't talk about that, but that I see that coming in. Okay, hon?
Cool.
Yeah. All right. We'll go to Michael, I think. Is it?
Hello.
Hi. Hey,
Hi.
Michael. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. Anything special that you want to work on, or
Whatever
where are
you say.
you on the XI journey, my friend?
Whatever you say.
Okay. So again, Michael is those types. You've probably been with me for a bit, seeing the
Yes.
changes. Yeah. So that's where, take a breath in, and just did somebody die of cancers or something in your family?
Yes, my father.
Okay. Got it.
That's what we talked about the last time.
Yeah. So your take a breath in and just notice your gut area, right down into your groin and then prostate regions and so on like that for you, right, my friend? And then the bones, the spine, especially in the tailbone area, that whole area. Okay. We'll work on that first, and then we'll gravitate to your upper torso. But so basically from your groin on up to your bottom of your ribs, your solar plex area. Okay, all the way around.
Right.
So what you've done through Oxi again is you've really cleaned up your genetics, and you've really cleaned up your genetics. You've really let go of the father patterns that you inherited from what I'm seeing. And since you haven't used those patterns for a long time, you're here so we can delete it for you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Great. Okay. So what that means is, for example, you've got an app on your phone that says, hey, you know what? And the phone is you, and it's like you've got an app and it says, oh, in this family, it's preloaded to go, oh, I have, I'm cancerous, I have a high propensity to get cancer. So there's an app on the phone. And then for Michael, he's like, well, I'm not using that app. But then, and this is where genetics or DNA starts to change. And then now what I'm helping Michael do is go, Michael, you haven't really used that app. You're not going to use it. You probably don't want to use it anyway. Can we just completely remove it out of your phone, your cell phone, out of your genetics? Okay. And you're a little older, but if you were younger and had kids, or even if do you have a kid, a son?
No.
I see you with it feels like a son to you. Is there somebody around you, or is that you? No kids?
No kids. No.
Okay. Did you want to have kids?
I did not. No.
Okay. I just see, so sometimes I get it confused. Sometimes, if we don't live the life we really wanted to, we kind of hold back. And if that makes sense for you,
Right.
where, you're going through life and there could be a better version of life somewhere, and then we duplicate ourselves, and then we kind of get stuck in time because we don't want to go further in the path that we do. Does that make sense for you, Michael?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so take a breath in. So let's just say you want to heal the relationship with your father. Can we clean that up for you, or have
Yes,
that
please.
connected?
Right.
Okay. So when you're a younger man, let's say, and that relationship, say, is not the best, or maybe you lost him, or if it was really good, and then you say you lost him from cancer and so on, it kind of creates this. So it kind of creates this, it stops you in time and space from what I'm seeing. So say your father passed away when you were a younger version of yourself, a younger man. Does that make sense?
Sure, he passed away about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
A
So
little
okay.
over 20.
Yep. So basically your version, however old you are, minus 20, that just stopped for you right there as well. So that's the son that I'm seeing. So basically it's a younger version of you. So let's heal that portion of your life. Does that make sense for you, buddy?
Sure. Right.
Okay. So take a breath in. So Michael is one of those individuals that, he's seen a lot of changes. And now it's like, Moss, whatever you see, yeah, it's all good. Go ahead and make those changes. So
Right.
he's at that level. So So take a breath in, buddy. So let's make sure your father's, say, genetics or consciousness is at a certain level for you. And then for you, Michael, you relieve yourself again of the genetic, I would say, patterns. There we go. There we go. So this is where the newness comes in, like Eleonora, this is where you don't age like you normally would in your family. This is also where you get a second chance on life. Have you traveled much back in the day?
I used to a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. So it seems like you'll travel again. And that's kind of that it's like the start of, say, your new, say, life for you.
I've recently retired and I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the time I have. I'm trying to make good decisions about that.
Okay. So and that's where that younger version of yourself comes in, or what I picked up as a son. So basically you're going to go back and reparent your younger version. The way you would do that is like you would go back and redo some of the things that you did in your younger days, like travel. And then when you do it this time, again, a second chance on life. When you do it this time, Michael, you're going to see the expansiveness of traveling rather than, how you traveled before. So it just resets everything for you, including your biological aging. From what I'm seeing. Nice job. Really nice. Right. We will go to Benjamin.
Hi, Mas.
Hey, Benjamin. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good, thank you. And you?
Good. I'm doing well, thanks. Where are we on the XI journey? And
I've been here for like 5 months, but this is my first private session.
okay.
I'm doing the accelerated for the second time right now, the replace.
Yeah, accelerated 18 days. Awesome. So you've seen a lot of changes, let's say, and where you are, and correct me if I'm wrong, Benjamin, but where you're seeing a lot of changes or possibilities show up for you, but you don't know how to access those possibilities. Does that make sense for you?
Yeah, definitely.
So what you're doing is like Benjamin is point A, your current version is here, but what you've done is you've removed some of the filters, a lot of the filters that I'm seeing. So you're still in point A, but you're like the possibilities of point B is here. So the new version of Benjamin, like Eleonora, is here, and you're going, well, how do I make that jump? Because it is a jump, okay, of the multidimensional self. How do I go from point A to point B?
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, really does.
And then you worry about, well, if I did make that change, you're in the past, Benjamin, you would have gotten burdened by your family, especially women in your family. It seems like you're a caretaker for them, or you're a burden keeper for them, or say your mom and dad didn't have the best relationship. That makes sense for you.
Yeah.
And maybe, and again, I who knows, I don't know, but maybe your, say, father cheated on, I think it might be the other way, but anyway, say your father cheated on your mom, okay, or the other way around, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Or they could have done both from what I'm seeing. Anyway, so it's that kind of frequency. And then your mom would get mad at your father. And then as you were, you're an infant, so your mom would be mad at you because you're a man. And then you would carry the burdens of your being a man. Does that make sense to you, how that works, or no?
Not really.
Okay. So
yeah, it does. Yes, it actually does. Yeah.
Okay. So was your mother regretful
about what?
About life in general? She
not
wishes
sure, actually.
She wishes it could have been different. Were you always helping your mom? or always
Uh,
supporting your mom? Or
yeah,
did you kind of get, say, blamed for things that you shouldn't have?
yeah. But I believe a lot of the blame came from my father, and my mother was like the caretaker,
Okay, so
very codependent.
okay, so it's flipped around. I'm just flipping it around. Sorry
Yeah.
about that. Yep. So, and that's what yeah. So, so take a breath in. So this is also where if I'm seeing your father, so whatever I said, flip it around into your father.
Yeah, then it's correct.
Okay. So, okay, perfect. So, so if I'm seeing your father and I'm looking at it as a feminine frequency, so your father was probably belittled by his mom.
Yeah.
So he has a vengeance against women, so to speak, or pushing against women. So he would push against his wife in this case, okay, which makes you a burden keeper. Again, it's like, because I'm a man, I have to run this pattern of, otherwise you're going to turn feminine. And that's what your father always fought with. Does that make sense? So for you, Benjamin, you have it like a feminine, say, tone to you that you don't need. Does that make sense to you? So,
Yes.
okay, so take a breath in. So this is where extreme versions, not you, Benjamin, but this is where extreme versions, people go, hey, you know what? I'm gay, or I'm lesbian, or I'm this and that. It's like, and then they do XI and they go, no, wait, I'm not any of that. I'm just who I am, a man or a woman. And there's nothing wrong with being gay, lesbian, or anything. But at a genetic coding, if you're not, you're not. Right? No matter what you think up here, no matter what society thinks of you, you're just not. That's just genetics. That's your nature. Okay. So for you, that will clean up and you'll become a stronger version of yourself. And if that's what you want, is that what you want, buddy?
Yeah, that's really what I want. And I, as you said, I can sense it and feel it, but I still feel this feminine part in me. And I know I have this masculine core that I want to step into.
Yeah. So quickly, take a breath in, close your eyes, buddy, and you all can do that as well. Take a breath in, close your eyes. Imagine that you have this layer, and this is what you're feeling, pulling away, and that's what I'm describing to you. You literally are in, say, in this like dimension of time where you're just wearing a layer or a clothing of, being a little more feminine, sensitive. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with that, again, if that's who you are, but that's not who you are. So it doesn't match you. So what you're doing is you're walking forward. Okay. You're walking away, but your clothing or the robe that you wear, imagine it, you're wearing this robe. So just a clear version. Notice how that robe shows up. That robe was basically part of your identity, your essence. Now it's outside of you, kind of like a snake skin, right? It's got a new skin coming through. It has to shed away the old skin. So that robe is that older skin. And if you're okay with it, notice how easy you just kind of like shed away. And the way you shed away is like the robe stays where it is. You just walk away from it. Notice how that visual, and it's an XI visual, so it's different than how normal people use visuals as goal setting tools and all that, which isn't the best. XI visuals are different. So notice how you walk away from it. And then now you're kind of like in between. And this is what you'll experience, an in between state where you don't know who Benjamin is. So that's kind of cool. And then you'll walk into your new version. How did that feel for you?
It feels great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Really.
So that's just you confirming that you want to walk into that new version. And then when you walk into that new version, you'll know what to do. You'll see things from a very different perspective. You'll heal from whatever happened to, your younger days. Your genetics will change. Your facial feature will change to be a more of a, say, solid masculine identity. If that makes sense for you, and people will treat you different as well, obviously, because, well, you're different. You are Benjamin without the distortions laid upon you. All right, buddy? Yeah. Right back in about 1, 2, 3, like 3 weeks, like massive changes for you in about 3 weeks, buddy.
Cool.
Okay. We'll go to Benjamin. We'll go to Anna. Anna.
Yeah.
It's
Yes, I'm here.
I can't really hear you that well. Can you turn your video off on? It might help the connection. Okay. Okay. So, all right. So Anna, I'll just read you just for the sake of time and because you have communication issues. You can just, yes, you can do a thumbs up or go, no, that doesn't make sense. How does that sound? Is that okay? So Anna, you, 1, 2, 3, 4, I see, one, are you new to XI? Or have you been around? Like, are you new? Like, not really. How long have you been with XI? Okay. You've done in 18 days. Okay. A year ago. Okay. So you've done 118 days. So you're kind of new. That's what I'm seeing. So basically, where Anna is, and unfortunately her sound doesn't work, 2 years ago. Okay. So you've done 18 days, 118 days. So when I see you, Anna, you're not consistent. And people that run your patterns need to say that extra pull or just that you need to be controlling of your life. So when I see you, Anna, you have 1, 2, 3, like 3 or 4 identities in you, if that makes sense. Just a thumbs up. Yes. So what that means is that you literally change your identities into another persona, and this is where people say would get confused with you. They don't know who you are, and then you don't know who you are because you'd look in the mirror, Anna, and you go, okay, that's me. And then later on you'd look in the mirror again and it's like, who is that person looking back at me? Does that make sense to you? Thumbs up. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So take a breath in. It doesn't mean that you have there's difference, like multiple personalities. That's a different, say, frequency. You have multiple guests. Okay. So your consciousness that creates Anna is one. And then there's 3 other consciousnesses that like step into you. Okay. Just to put it in layman's terms, basically you would have, say, another identity that will step into you. Does that make sense to you? Did you have eating disorders or eating issues or self-image issues back in the day? You still kind of do from what I'm seeing. Your mom did. Okay. So your mom had eating disorders and so on. So here's the deal. And this is, again, the sins of the father that I talk about and repent. Okay. So your mom had, say, she seemed like she would have had multiple personalities, if that makes sense to you. Okay. You feel your mom is influencing you? Yes. That's what I'm talking about. Absolutely. At a very deep level. So even at not just a physical level, I see that, but at a very, very deep level. So here's the deal. Take a breath in, Anna, and just notice your ribs. Wow. Your bone structure feels really soft to me, by the way, physically. So you didn't go through puberty, say, just as the way that you should have. So let's clean you up. So here's the deal, and here's how we, again, we absorb our genetics, start to morph into, say, our father or our parents' patterns. And then we'll go, well, that's just genetics. We inherited it. It's not really, you learn it. There's nurture, there's nature aspect of it. Yes. And then there's that nurture. So your mom had multiple personalities from what I'm seeing, like literally multiple personalities. She would go into different realities, if that makes sense. Okay. So when you're seeing her as a kid, you're going, shit, moms, because this is how we're starting to understand our reality or environment. So what you're doing, Anna, is like you're looking at your mom and you're going, why is mom all over the place? And since you're female, she's female, that's even, that gives it more impact. It's like, oh, that's the way I'm supposed to create my reality, because you're a great copier of people. That makes sense for you. You can sense or copy other people's patterns really well, which in the future, we can use that as a success mechanism to copy good attitudes, good habits, good frequencies. But what you've copied is you didn't have the best environment to copy from. So what you did was you copied your mom's patterns of multiple dimensions of self. And that's where you are. And then with people like you, if you don't resolve it, yep, absolutely. If you don't resolve it, what'll happen is that whenever your mom decides to cross over, or your father, but mostly your mom, whenever your mom decides to cross over, she's not going to go anywhere. She'll just like step into your body. And that's what you're really, really afraid of. If you've noticed, as you've aged, your mom is like more demanding from what I'm seeing, or really extreme. She'd even, which is really kind of messed up for people. And this is how you get, say, groomed to have your parents step into you. Okay. So, and this is where, and I know that sounds crazy, but here are some of the symptoms that Anna and you all might feel. The older that you get and the closer to death that your parents get, the more you want to push away from your parents. But then you're bound because you love them and you want to take care of them, or you hate them and then you're forced to take care of them at some level. They've chosen you, like your mom has chosen you. And again, as you age, it's like, shit, I don't want to run you wake up again. Does that make sense to you, honey? Does that make sense? Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So take a breath in. So what I was doing all this time, if you're ready, is like, let's separate you, because the bubble of consciousness, here's Anna's consciousness, here's your mom, and basically your mom is trying to like step into you. And then 3 other people are as well. Okay. So if you want to call it an exorcism, hon, let's just call it what it is. Take a breath in. So let's help you remove those patterns. There we go. And almost right away, you'll feel like a release, especially around the ribs here, from what I'm seeing, because that's how they'll penetrate you. How are you feeling? Oh, wow. Looking at you, and guys, just comment in. Does Anna look different? She just like kind of her essence like literally changed. So how do you feel? Good? Do you feel released or relieved? Or I hate to say it, hon, exercised? Your face, before you were like a ghost. Now you have more color. And I know people go, well, it's like, yeah, you felt it? Exactly. Look at your face in the camera. Do you see the real you coming in? That's what you've always wanted your whole life, hon. The real you. Wow. So what you want to do, honey, is do the 18 days. You don't want to do the accelerated, but you want to do the essential 18 days. Okay. And that'll like solidify who you are. And then don't allow anybody, not even the unseen. This is also where if you do meditations and say a spirit guide or angel and all that stuff, they're not real for you, Anna. Don't allow anything, even if they were real, they're not good for you. Okay. So don't allow any of those things to come into you. Does that make sense for you, hon? Because we didn't get into that. It's just not enough time, but yeah, don't allow that to happen. For you all guys, if you go, I have spirit guides, I have angels, I have this, and they go, oh, let me, enter your high level spirit guides, pure spirit guides, angels, all that will never transgress into your frequency. They will never do that. They honor that. Low level frequencies or dark frequencies will go, yeah, it's going to be a euphoric experience. That's where people get messed up. Okay. You do not want to do that. We'll move on. I'm so happy for you. And please write back. Okay. Wow, your face just came back. So beautiful. We'll go to Daniel. Hey, Daniel, how are you? It's nice to see guys here. That's nice. Oh, your sound is really low. Yeah. Okay. Recently, right? A year ago? Okay, recent. Yeah. So Michael, you take a breath in, buddy. And mental health month coming up in May. And XI or I see mental health in a very different state. He does? Oh, yeah, that's well, anyway. So the audio connection might not be the best, but take a breath in. And people are asking why does it sound, because there's the internet connection is not the best for Michael. Okay. So
My
I
name
sound,
is Daniel.
yeah, I sound okay, right, guys?
My name is Daniel.
I'm sorry, say that again.
My name is Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel, sorry. I don't know why. Oh, let me talk about that. Take a breath in. So again, I see mental health from a very different perspective. May is mental health month, so we're going to do a lot about mental health. We can transform things rather than decades of therapy and so on. We can transform it in a very short time. So for you, Daniel, did you have a brother, by the way, that passed away?
I don't.
What?
I have a live brother.
You have a live brother?
Yes.
Okay. Did you
Two of
have?
us.
Okay. Are you too close to each other?
We're not.
Okay.
We are.
Got it. Yeah, the sound isn't the best. So Mike, I'm sorry, I keep calling you Michael. Daniel. And there's so when you were
My father is Michael.
your father's Michael?
Yes.
Oh, that's why. Okay. That's what makes sense. Got it. Okay. So take a breath in. That's why. Where do I start? So, wow. Just give me a second because there's so many things that I'm working on for you. So what happens to, and just notice your head, buddy. Just notice your space. Notice your head area. Okay. You might get a splitting headache, by the way, after this. It's okay. Just go to sleep. Take some whatever if you need to. Okay. So your father is Michael. Got it. So this is where duplicate identities come in, and that's where I see that death, basically. Your father was always out of his body, and he needed to latch on to somebody. You as an infant, so your father was depressed or suicidal. I think one of his siblings might have committed suicide, or maybe your father's father might have committed suicide. Anyway, it's that kind of pattern for you.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Huh?
I don't think so.
Okay. You might want to just check your history. I could be off as well. Anyway, suicidal or depression type patterns. And the way your family runs is that, so think of yourself, Michael, take a breath in, notice your head space, and then notice your heart.
Daniel.
I'm sorry, Daniel. Okay. Your father's frequency is so strong, it overrides you. And that's okay. And so let's just disconnect it from you. So what I'm trying to say for you, Daniel, there we go. What I'm saying is, Daniel, oh, there we go. Let's move your father's frequency out, because your father is like literally yelling at me, even if he's not alive. So his frequency is louder than your frequency. So what you would feel, Daniel, is that you're actually your presence, people are saying that you're changing. What your father literally drowned you with his frequency. because he needed someone to latch on to, either through love or through abuse. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Okay. So think of it this way: breath in. Okay. So what happens for you, Daniel? There you go. You feel more like Daniel now. And that's what's messing you up. It's like, why am I Daniel? But then why is there somebody or something else inside me? Why doesn't it feel good? And then what you would do, it's like having a thorn or an itch inside you that you can't itch. And this is where you would have a mental breakdown or situations similar to that. You're trying to remove something that you just can't. Does that make sense for you?
No.
No? Okay.
It's not.
Okay. So how do you feel?
I feel okay.
Okay. Take a breath in. Do you always, and again, it's okay if you don't feel that. It's how you save yourself, Daniel, is that you'll always push against whatever somebody is saying, by the way, if you look at your speech patterns, because
Okay.
that's how you identify yourself in space and time. Okay. So just take a breath in. And I'll just walk you through a visual really quick, buddy. Okay. And even if you don't believe me, it's totally fine. Let's just see what happens in about, well, the next few days for you. Again, it'll mess you up a little bit, Daniel. And then you'll start to reclaim who you are. You might get really, really angry because you're pushing away your father's identity. Okay. You're not going to sit still, basically. Okay. So breath in again. All right. So, and if you want, you can close your eyes. If you want, you can keep them open. It doesn't matter. But, you know, you're so afraid of letting go of the last piece of Daniel. Because as you age, your father's frequency, Michael, will again invade you.
We've been trying to have kids, but we haven't been able to have any.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You've been trying to what?
Have children? Have
Okay.
kids?
Okay. Let's resolve this first. Okay. Let's just resolve this first, Daniel, because you know, your genetics, hopefully, let's clean that up first, and then, you know, you can have kids. Otherwise, no offense, Daniel, you're trying to have kids to feel complete and happy, just the way your mom and dad had kids. It's not a good reason to have kids, so unfortunately. So let's clean yourself up, and then once you clean yourself up and really like claim yourself of who you are, and then you'll have a higher propensity to have like more like healthier kids. Okay, mentally healthy kids. So again, yeah. So
Healthy. I am healthy.
you are healthy. Well, why did you have a mental breakdown then? Let's just get to the point. How can you be healthy and have a mental breakdown? That's not healthy, Michael, Daniel. And that's your father coming in.
My name is Daniel.
And this is what I said, Daniel. No matter what I would say, you would be the opposite. No matter what the hell I would say, even if I repeated what you would say, okay, you would go, no, that's not true. And I'd go, well, Daniel, that's just your verbatim. That's what you said. And then it's like, damn. So that's the problem, Daniel, is that you, no matter what people say, you will say the opposite just to keep yourself safe for you. Okay. So, and that's just the key. Just take it in, just take it as it is. Okay. And again, like somebody said, your dad is fighting. You're actually fighting against your dad, not against me. So, if that makes sense for you, buddy. So you're always, again, pushing against somebody against your partner, against anybody. You'll do that with your child, by the way. So again, right now, okay, so breath it again, buddy. You're going to get really messed up through this work, okay? Even through this session, whether you like it or not, because at a higher level, you want to be whole and complete, okay? Really healthy, not what your version of healthy is, because that's a very different version. So what'll happen for you again is that you'll get distorted, disoriented. You'll probably get mad at me, which is totally cool. And then all of a sudden, Daniel will come in a complete, say, sense of self. And then this is where you wake up one day, Daniel, and you go, oh, wow, what happened? I feel like myself. And this is where, again, you start to reclaim yourself. And that's where you would have like an opportunity to have healthy kids. Does that make sense? Even if it doesn't, because it will. Okay, awesome. So we'll move on, buddy. As a note, read the comments, okay? And you'll see that you've changed. I know it'll piss you off a bit, by the way. All right, let's move on. We'll go to Eric.
Hey. So I have 3 things I want to take a look at. I'm not sure if it fits or not, or maybe you can find something better to work on. Yeah, doing some therapy. I found some childhood fear of being blamed for things I didn't do. Fear of having a bad reputation behind my back, and then trouble with making quick, appropriate decisions. And then if you see whatever you want, however you want to approach this, or
yes. So frequency wise, buddy, frequency wise, what I see is like you're in a hole and you can never get out of that hole. Does that make sense to you? That's the pattern that you're running. So no matter what you do, you'll fall into the hole. And then what you do, Eric, and correct me if I'm wrong, is like you'll fill that hole up, you'll start to walk away from it. And then say that you build a business or you get close to a good relationship, and again, filling that hole up, you start to walk away from that hole. And then all of a sudden the floor gives way for you.
Right.
And it's like you find yourself back in the hole. 1, 2, 3. Have you had 3 relationships or 4? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Long term, probably 4-ish.
Yeah, 4-ish. Yeah. 3.5, 4-ish. Yeah. So if you look at the patterns, not specific, but if you look at the similarities or the patterns of those relationships, it starts to solidify. And then as soon as it solidifies, it'll just like break apart. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then you go, what the hell happened? And then things break apart really fast. It's like, you're on ice and then all of a sudden you just fall through. And it just breaks apart. Does that make sense for you?
Yeah.
Your mom and dad and basically you're the scapegoat for your parents. So it's almost like a pattern, like, well, if we didn't have kids, we'd be better off. We could have done more things. We could have, if we didn't have kids, and you're not the only child, right?
No, I have 3 sisters.
Okay. Yeah. So again, it's that whole group. Oh, and that's another thing too. I think they wanted another boy as well, or maybe more boys than girls.
Yeah, they had a miscarriage. It was supposed to be a boy before me.
Got it. So let's clean that up for you as well. But you would take the burdens or the guilt from your sisters as well, because a couple of them should have been boys as well. That makes sense. So take a breath in. So it's almost, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's almost like your sisters would kind of blame you or be envious of you because you're a boy.
Yeah, maybe blame me for my dad would drink, so they would kind of being the only boy. Yeah, I guess stuff like that.
Yep. Breath in again. And that's another thing too, if your dad is drinks a lot, I wouldn't say quite alcoholic, although you might think that way. There's differences in alcoholism and then somebody who drinks a lot, although it might look same on the outside. Your dad could just stop drinking if he was happy with his life. Alcoholics can't, even if something resolved in their life. So anyway, he drinks to escape, basically. So take a breath in. All right. Notice your gut. And then again, for those people, for those audiences in the audience, if you run similar patterns, this is also where you would have great ideas. Eric, you would have great ideas, and then what would happen is that they won't fruition. They're almost there, but then things will like moved away from you. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah. My dad
So-
would shut down a lot of my ideas growing up. I always wanted to build all sorts of stuff, businesses.
Yes, so that pattern is in you. So even if you could do your own, you'll almost get there and it'll get shut down for you. So that's how strong that pattern is. So breath in, Eric. There you go. Oh, so his dad did that to him. So your grandpa did that to your father. Basically, it's like, and there's a religious frequency in there as well.
Yeah, dad was really my dad was really religious.
Okay, but he hated to be religious. He just
Mm.
grew up religious, but he hated religion. That
Mm.
makes sense to you. If you grow up in a home that's really religious, you might hate it, but then when you get older, you don't know anything else, and then you would just run that religious pattern despite that you don't believe in it. And then your dad would drink and so on to get rid of that. So, and then unfortunately, it's the craziest thing what people do to their kids. Just notice your throat area, by the way. Your dad would go, you know what, if I didn't have a chance to live, you're not going to have a chance to live either, because that's the way I grew up. So
Yeah.
so the cool thing about all this, Eric, okay, the great thing about all this is that and if you can imagine like a parachute behind you, okay, just like a lot of athletes, a lot of high performance athletes, they put a parachute behind them to slow them down. Okay, so what you did, which is really fantastic, and we're going to use that right now. Take a breath in. Okay. Hey Zen. So what you did is like you turn that into, say, a gift for you, just like the high performance athletes. You kept pulling. So you created massive strength in your identity, in your self-worth, all that. I see that intact for you, but now you just have this parachute behind you. It's time to let go of that parachute.
Yeah.
Okay. What most people do is like, gosh, I got all these burdens. I'm just going to go back and like lay on those burdens. So you kept pulling away, which is really cool. You created more of an identity. You kept saying, no, that's not me. That's not me. You learn from your father's mistakes, your mother's, your sister's, society's mistakes, and you go, shit, that's not me. I don't want to do that. So you pulled away from that. Breath in again, buddy. Can we just take that parachute off your back?
Yes.
It's time for you to accelerate. Again, just like high performance athletes, they put that parachute on their back and then they remove it and then they're faster. So after this session, especially, you'll start to see that things will start to work out for you better. Things will become easier for you. You'll get faster. You'll do things faster, and your brain is really, really fast. You can see, like if somebody gives you an idea, Eric, what you can do, what you'll do is like you'll see 3-4 scenarios on how that idea won't work, and then make a scenario that it can work. So you're
Yeah.
analyzing. So
Yeah, I analyze a lot. That's why I have trouble making decisions, because my
Uh,
mind can just do that kind of stuff.
I'm glad you brought that up. You really don't have trouble making decisions, buddy. It's just that your programming, again, that parachute forces you to mess up.
Oh, okay.
So once you remove that parachute, you just go, boom, that's the decision I need to make, and you'll go that way. Right, buddy? So, and this is what we teach in, business seminars and private sessions for business people. So that would be beneficial for you, by the way. All right, buddy?
Okay.
Nice job.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We'll go to Bonnie.
Hello, Moss.
Hi, Bonnie. How are you?
Hi, okay, yeah, with your 8 years, listened to many hundreds of meta healings and sessions and
Mhm.
21 days. And little by little, I've had chunks that I've let go of and recovered and rejuvenated, but over and over and over again. And this
Mhm.
time, ever since, I don't know, 2.5 years now, it's just been like everything on me is in pain or bleeding or breaking or
Mhm.
sick and tired, and it seems like I'm in this holding pattern of my body just not letting go of that.
Yeah.
So what else is going on? Because
Okay.
I feel like I've deleted every mental emotional pattern in people, places, and things, and
Mhm. Yes.
which I know I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So take a breath in. The one thing that we haven't done, Bonnie, is that I kind of feel there's a masculine frequency around you, if that makes sense. And say that you're attached to your father or a grandfather, from what I'm seeing. Does that make sense to you or no?
Well, yeah, I've done a lot of work on all the abuse with my dad, and the family patterns of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But I
So
don't know, my ex-husband, he's not around me, but
okay.
I don't think.
Yeah, so that's one thing, and so take a breath in, and that's why you're kind of taking the longer path with XI, is that that singular identity that you think is still you is really not you. So it'll really mess you up, but I can help you delete it. That's the real. So people take a breath in, Bonnie. Okay, so what people do, like people that run your patterns, by the way, they have this identity that they think is that's part of them. Okay.
Mhm.
And then they try to say clean up the outside version of them, but they don't allow this internal identity to change. XI dictates that you need to change your internal identity.
Right.
For you. So that's where we're misconstruing the message. So what you've done, again with XI, is that you've seen all the things that aren't you, and you
Right.
pushed them away, but you didn't change that internal version of you. So let's
Okay.
see if we can break through that, if that's okay.
Sure.
And this is where, Bonnie, we might have had a really, really, say, tough childhood back in the day.
Mhm.
Okay. A really tough one from what I'm seeing. And maybe
Internally, yet my external childhood was beautiful, abundance, and prosperity and family love. But yes, internally was the conflict.
yes. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm glad you brought that up. So there's that internal version of a lot of conflict, then there's that external version. So you changed the external
Yeah.
versions of you, but now you're so different. The
That's
internal
for
and
sure.
external are so different, it's causing issues for you. So and then also your internal conflict. So say that in your family lineage, people were destitute and so on. Okay. That pattern, and it happens to a lot of, say, people who are, come into even middle class or, high level, high profile, wealth, a lot of wealth, is that they hold on to their roots, and their wealth destroys them, so to speak,
Yeah.
because they're still holding on to going, well, I came from a poor background, if that makes sense to you, or destitute background. You feel like you came from a destitute background, your family did. Okay, or 1, 2, 3, 4 to be specific, like 3, 4 generations ago, you either came from famine or you had some wealth and it got taken away from you. That kind of frequencies for you, and that impacted you.
Mhm.
So those frequencies or those hereditary patterns are in you. So you would have had, again, wealth around you or abundance and love, but on the inside, you wouldn't feel it. That
Yeah.
makes sense?
Right. Yeah. So my family can't understand why I'm like I am and why I don't want to associate with them, because
Yeah.
they run these, dysfunctional internal patterns.
Yes.
And I don't want to be part of that.
No. So that's beautiful. So take a breath. So, and then you're very adamant on not being like them, which kind of like Daniel, you know, you
Okay,
just
okay, got it.
holding on to that deeper, you saw how Daniel was. And
Right,
again,
yeah,
beautiful guy.
I get it. Yes, I can see the
So,
pattern, yes.
all right. So take a breath in, hon. And for you all out there as well, take a breath in. Just notice your neck, your throat area.
Yeah, yes,
So a lot of your issues that you have with your body
yes,
are other people's issues.
yes, I was thinking the same thing, yes,
They're not even yours. So the cool
right,
thing is people like you, and again, I'm not a doctor, I can't guarantee anything, and well, neither should doctors. But the cool thing about people that run your patterns is like you're sensing, which is really good for you. Bonnie, is that you're sensing that the stuff isn't me. So those changes are there for you, and you're getting more and more comfortable about letting go of that internal value. That makes sense for you.
yes,
So you will
yeah,
break, you will break down, you will almost feel like another person or another identity in you, and then it breaks down, and people like you, you know, it's like you put so much force, it has to break, and then it breaks. So you'll feel like a big break. And then the diseases and issues that you have either disappear, or you take something, or, you know, medical assistance, and they just like disappear. And then this is where doctors go, I've never seen that happen before. So, and this is where you can get on the right track with XI. Breath in. And notice your solar plex. The way you process food, by the way, you don't absorb some of the nutrients that you need.
yeah, I know, my digestive has been destroyed ever since COVID, and I've been doing everything and nothing helps, it's
Yes.
getting worse.
Yes. So on the XI with Masajati, you there, if you look through the post, there's some supplements that will clean you up. Again, COVID, very insidious.
Yeah,
I
I've
think
done the fasting, I've done the autography, but it didn't make any difference.
yeah.
You know,
So yeah, you've done that, which is really good. Now you just need supplementation. Amino acids is really good. If you can find an amino acid with all 22 amino acids, just to help you rebuild, because what happens is the communication, this is what's wrong with COVID, the communication
right,
between your cells get messed up on. So that's an add-on of what we were talking about frequency wise. Communication, your cells get messed up. The amino
yes,
acids, good amino acids will come in, and then like, oh, this is what we're supposed to do. So it rewrites the old patterns on like protein synthesis and all those things that you need. So really, this is just a suggestion, but really get a hold of some good amino acids for you.
more,
And then
more than
bone
just the
broth.
protein I'm taking, more than just the protein and those things.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah, because if you're taking protein and the amino acids aren't working out well, you won't synthesize protein. And that's what I've found with again, not a doctor, but
yeah,
people, they can't synthesize the protein that they take, and that messes people up a bit more. So that's at a physical level. At a frequency
right,
level, I allowed your inner core to like get comfortable. And this what takes over, and this is where your presence starts to come through. Okay, honey?
thank you.
You're so welcome, honey. We will move on to last one, Lynn.
Hi.
Hey, Lynn. Oh, by the way, so just before we Nito, there's some supplementation, and again, I'll post it on XI. I forgot the name of it. It helps break down the clots and so on in your arteries and veins. So that's what they say. So that's really good. Yeah, humic acid is really good as well, guys. Again, COVID, very insidious. Back to you, Lynn. How are you doing? How's your? Wow, you're really mad at somebody. You're always mad at somebody. Anyway, so anything special, Lynn?
No, just can you scan me? Let's see what he
Sure.
said.
Yeah, so you're really mad at somebody? Oh yeah, Nado Canis. I don't know how to say it. So when I see you, you're not really mad, but I'm just saying you're a strong identity, if that makes sense to you. And then whatever doesn't say resonate with you, you'll shut down. Does that make sense? Even now?
No.
Yeah. So take a breath in, hon. So people like you would, like I said, you'd always have to think about it, see if all aspects of that
Oh,
idea or
yes.
concept.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, there you go. So nice. So even now, Lynn, you're starting to say trust your higher self, or trust what I'm saying, which is great, which allows you more flexibility. Okay, so people again that run your patterns, and again I keep emphasizing that because it's not you, and that's what you have an issue with. It's this pattern that you're running is not you, and that's the thing that you're pushing away. But the way you push it away is the problem. There's a deeper core that I see in you, the vibrancy. You never really quite had a childhood, did you?
No.
From what I'm saying. No. Yeah. So especially around 13 or 14, did something get taken away from you? Huh? Or
Mm,
you had an opportunity to do something, and then it didn't work out, or you wanted to do something, but then situations happen where it got taken away. It always seems like things get taken away from you, or you almost see like you have it, but then you can't have it. That kind of pattern. Does that make sense?
Not that I can recall.
Okay. Take a breath in. Totally cool. So let me tell you the pattern that you're running. So for example, that you have a solution that gets presented for you, okay, an opportunity to change. But then, you needed 10 components, complete 10 components to make this idea work. Okay. So you would have even up to 9 of those components. And then that last one you would get stuck on. It's like, well, it's not going to work because this last 10th component is not there. Does that make sense to you? So you would just trash that idea. And then your life kind of cycles itself or recycles itself. Does that make sense for you?
I'm not sure.
So that's my point. So are there segments of what I just said that
Yes.
are
Yes.
okay?
Yes. Segments are valid. Yes.
Okay. So you proved my point. So if I say something, all aspects or all say 10 cylinders would have to be firing for you to go, yes, that's true. Okay. So you'd never pull away and like pull the good things that would be beneficial for you out of
Okay.
those. So this is where you get, say, it starts to become a slippery slope, by the way, because the older that you get, the more right now, you're on it. When you were younger, you were like kind of like this, but then as you age, the incline gets steeper like this. So people like you feel as they age, they go deeper and deeper into this pattern because we didn't learn how to disconnect, or we didn't learn how to take away the pieces that we needed to grow. Okay, so take a breath in again, and just notice your chest area, your lungs. So again, in this situation, say somebody gives you something and say that you're really, really hungry. Okay. And then somebody brings you a plate of food and they're beneficial for you and you like, but because it's the other 10 aren't appealing to you, you would rather starve than just eat that piece that's beneficial for you. Does that make sense for you?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. And this is where,
Is that what you're saying? Is
yeah.
it like
And this,
perfection?
yeah. And this is where you would go, no, and then you would do without. Okay. And then it's like, and then later on, sometimes we get regretful it's like, gosh, why didn't I take what was there before? Why, that kind of pattern, or it's like my life could have been better, that kind of pattern. Does that make sense to you? You kind of get regretful or resentful, or to me, anger, and you keep pushing that away. Does that make sense for you, hon, or no? Okay. Out of what I said, are there parts that make sense for you?
Yes.
Okay. So just mind your patterns. Okay. So take the pieces out of what I said that would make sense for you, and go, oh, okay, let's build upon that. Just like that food plate. Don't take the things that you don't like or aren't beneficial. Take the pieces, the morsel that are beneficial for you. Nothing has to be perfect. And this is where, there's perfection. Everything has to be in order. And I think that might have come from your mom, where your mom was so, I don't know, nervous or whatever, that you had to be like in precision. That makes sense to you? A hair couldn't be out of place for you.
That's right.
Does that
That's right. Mhm.
make sense for you? Okay. And if it was, it would freak her out, or it would freak you out. Okay. You could be all beautiful like you are, and then say you just have a little scratch on your cheek or whatever, or a blemish, and it's like, no, it's not good. You're ugly as hell. And it's like, it's just a scratch on your cheek, hon. That kind of pattern. Does that make sense? Okay. So now you're getting it. And now you're allowing yourself to go back and maybe feel the pain of what happened to you back then, because that's why you want to just shut that off. But when you shut that off and then you create another version, goes, Lynn is this, and that's what you're always doing. And then you don't allow it to heal here. So can we just open that door that you're trying to shut all the time? Is that okay? Again, you might have just a breakdown where you just melt, and then you cry it out, and I would suggest crying it out, let it go, and just feeling the emotions rather than going, just let it go on. And then what'll happen is, like, you'll heal really fast, and then you'll go, oh, this is Lynn the way I want it. And then your younger child heals. Okay. So rather than pushing it away, because even if you take that one morsel that will heal you, it means that you would have to open that door to heal the rest of you. That's why you don't take that morsel. Not that you're dumb or anything like that. Okay. And then you start to see the beauty in you. Although you might not be, say, your hair might not be perfect, you go, that's okay. And this is where you relax more around people. This is where you relax more about yourself. This is where you go, yeah, life is good. And then you might even get a little messy, and you go, yeah, it's okay to be messy. And then you'll reclaim yourself, and you'll do cleanliness from a different perspective. Does that make sense for you? Okay. So take a breath in. And if you want to cry now, you're in a loving place, by the way. You can just let it go. We've all got you. There's loving people here. They're all rooting for you. Breath in. Just notice your back. And this is also where femininity, a lot of women that go through this pattern, they lose their femininity, because if you tap into your femininity, females, human females, have destroyed themselves and have been destroyed. So when you tap into the femininity aspect of who you are, you start to feel all the garbage, all the darkness, and then you pull away from that as well. And you don't know where to go. So all those things will show up for you as well. Okay. Breath in again. There you go. Somebody commented, a wild woman, strong, beautiful. I actually see you like that. You're going to do a lot of things that you probably wanted to do, but you didn't think it was good. So that's good. You go a little wild, you'll feel the freedom of that, and then you'll tone it the proper way. Rather than disown it, you'll own that wild you know, version of you in a good way. And this is where you feel the essence of life. That makes sense, right, Ellen?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Any questions as we end?
No, good.
Very good. All right. All right. Well, thank you so much, guys. Thanks for being here. Again, a lot of transformations is that, you know, people, you know, whether it's Lynn or Bonnie or especially Daniel, you know, in this situation, do you notice that there's always a theme? Those who've been following me, there's always a theme. There's no you know, just coincidences. This group of people and many others on this group, most of you, again, we're in this. It's like, I don't want to be this. I want to be this version. That's that thing. And then people will like hold on so strongly to that identity that it really starts to hinder them as they awaken, because they still hold on to that identity. It's like those individuals who are drowning, and I've saved a couple people. It's crazy. They're drowning, and then what they do is that whatever thing that they're holding on to keep them alive, okay, they'll hold on to, even if it's like a brick, right? It's like, dude, you're holding on to a brick. It's not going to help you save your life. And they go, this is the only thing I have though. And they'll hold on to that brick, and it's like, you're going to drown, you know, and they won't let go of it. So in this scenario, a lot of those individuals we worked on today is just like that. And sometimes they might not see what I see, but then later on, or you saw many of them like start to change. It's like, wait a second. Especially, who was it? Anna was amazing. She'd go, oh, I need to let go, and she just let go. So again, believe it or not, it doesn't really matter. But if your beliefs aren't working for you, you might want to just let go of that hold of that identity that you hold on to, right? And then you'll see, especially in today's world, in this realm, you'll see that something comes by that'll actually save you, save your life, right? If you just can just let go of that other piece. All right, guys. Zach's class today was awesome. Oh, awesome. Good job. So we've got a lot of stuff coming up for you guys. May 15th, reparenting, or it's a Mother Day frequency, reparenting, and then the mother frequency coming up on May 23rd for you for Mother's Day. Mental health, that's a talk in Medi, that's coming up May 31st. Human Reset launch coming up for you. The 18-day is May 8th. So that's coming up pretty quick if you really want to transform your life in 18 days. People have. So that's really fantastic. And then also we have a cruise coming up. So you can, it's all on the calendar on masajati.com. All right, guys, thanks for being here. No, we ran over a little bit, but I think those people needed it. So again, thank you guys. Take care. Bye.